Fire and Ice Festival 5K. Finished second overall today. Around 20 minutes, 25-second range. I don't know what the official time was. I didn't look at the board afterwards. Not my best time by far for the race. Conditions were not conducive to running really fast today. Plus, I got 3.28 on my watch, so it was, 0.18 longer. So even though I might have ran like a 20 and a half or 20-25, whatever, probably knocking another minute off if it was like an actual true 5K, just because of the added distance. So I'll take it. It was about 30 degrees. Roads were kind of coming in today, I did look at the course a little bit. I actually drove to the back half because I come in on the front half. It actually didn't look too bad on the front half. It looked more like road shoe type course today. But when I got to the back half, when I drove it, like 40 minutes before the race starts, so like 9:20, it was got that like white ice cover the whole way across the road, basically the whole second half of the race. And I was like, all right, well, speed shoes are definitely out. Like carbon shoes would have been a no-go today. But I brought actually like 4 pairs of shoes. I brought carbon shoes, my normal like trainers for everyday use. I bought my training trail shoes, and then I brought my speed trail shoes. It was going to be dependent on conditions. I actually chose the wrong shoes today. I paid for it later. I wore my everyday training trail shoes, so probably like the 3rd out of the 4th best option. Just because I knew carbon shoes were out, and the road shoes, I was like, I could probably get away with it. But when I saw that ice on the second half of the course, I was like, I need some traction and something that can dig in a little bit. But I knew my racing trail shoes were a little bit too, I don't want to say aggressive, but they weren't conducive to the conditions. Like my everyday trail shoes, like I could run them on the road and not have my feet kill me, whereas my race day trail shoes will hurt my feet after a couple miles. So it's like, all right, I'll go with my trail shoes. And I thought that was a smart decision after looking at the course, and even like walking through the parking lot, like inside the cafeteria of the school. It was like really slick, and I was like, yeah, definitely get something with like more traction that you feel comfortable running in. So that's why I went with them. And it turned out to be a mistake, because that like half an hour, 40 minutes between me driving the course and the race start, well, I'd say probably 50 minutes by the time we actually hit that part of the course. The sun must have warmed it up just enough for that ice wasn't as bad, and a couple cars must have came through where there was actually like lanes on that second half that you could actually run through and not be on ice. So that sort of sucked. So that's the way I was looking at it. Definitely cost me a solid minute, if not 2, time-wise today. Now, if it was icy as it was this morning when I looked at it, it would have benefited me, because everybody else would have been running slower. But since the conditions changed, it actually hurt me and cost me that minute or 2. I'm going to say more a minute and a half to 2 minute time, just because the conditions, and they're heavier shoes. My racing shoes, like my carbon shoes, are probably like 5-6 ounces. My my everyday trainers are for road or maybe like 7, 8. My everyday trail shoes are like 10, 11 ounces. But my speed trail shoes are about like 9. Now that might not seem like a lot, but when you're actually trying to run fast, and then if you're doing like miles, it does add up and it does take away from speed. And just the way my trail shoes are built, you're not going to be running as fast as you can with trail shoes as you are going to be road. And then with the added weight, we'll say, don't make me do the math, but we'll just say like another 8 to 14 ounces like on my feet when I'm trying to actually like run fast with a shoe that's actually more aggressive for grip than like sliding off the road. If that all makes sense. I was out in the cold too much, now I'm coughing. It was a decent crowd, maybe a little smaller than normal. But whatever. The roads were actually good today, going to the race, and so far going home, they're pretty good. But it is cold. It's 23 degrees right now. It definitely got colder from the start of the race, and even like driving up, it was like 30, sometimes even like 34, like when I left my house. Now it's 23, so the temperature's definitely dropped. There's little flurries in the air now. And it was definitely felt cold during the race. And I will say this for a fact, the wind was ridiculous today. Like they were talking about 40 miles an hour winds like yesterday and today. We definitely were running in, I would say like that 40 to, maybe not 40, maybe it was like 30, but whatever. It wasn't your normal everyday wind. These were like real gusts that were actually like forcing your body like back, and it was the whole course. It didn't matter if you're like on the way out, the way back, or just on the couple side streets in the beginning. The way the wind was, it hit you like in the front. I don't know how it changed directions the whole race, but it somehow did. And it was like pushing against like my chest the whole time. I could just like feel it pushing me back, holding me back, costing me some time as well, probably 20 to 30 seconds as well at minimum, just because you could definitely feel the resistance as you're running, like the wind. Would have been nice to have like a couple cars or something, or more some people around me like to break the wind, so I could be in the tunnel instead of like not breaking it myself. So if you were running the race and you were with a group of people, you probably had a really good advantage being in like more of a tunnel or having people like break the wind. But being out front, I was breaking the wind myself, and not in the gassy, well, maybe in the gassy sense, because I did leave a few of those go too, but it was definitely harder to run because of the wind resistance. But whatever. I told a couple friends at the beginning of the race, like, I didn't really, I mean, obviously I always want to win, do my best, but when I was walking around the parking lot and stuff, I decided, you know, not to do nothing stupid. So if I start slipping and sliding, I was going to like pull back. I mean, I like the race, but it's not important enough to like get hurt, set myself back. So it's like, all right, if I start slipping or, you know, have traction issues, I'm just going to like hang back and take it easy and just go for fun. I even told a couple of friends that. So I really didn't even like go out too fast today. I didn't even really warm up too much. Heck, I almost forgot to put my bib on. I think like 3 minutes before the race, I actually like put it on because I forgot about it. The one other thing that I forgot today that really actually took me out of a racing mindset was I forgot my MP3 player at home. I had my headphones and I had my armband, but I forgot to grab the MP3 player unless it's fell out somewhere in the vehicle. And it sort of just like put me in that non-race mindset, because when I'm running fast, I hate not listening to music because then I have to hear myself breathe, and when I hear myself breathe heavier, makes me want to run slower, so like I don't get my adrenaline going. Plus, music helps me keep my adrenaline going and get in like the race mode and attack mode, and I didn't have that, which obviously cost me time and stuff like that today. So we'll call it another 30 seconds the time. So like stuff starting to really add up, like time wise, my shoes, the wind, the MP3 player. Like I probably should have dropped like an 18 today. Like if bare conditions, I had my like good shoes and an MP3 player, I definitely think at 18s was possible. We're mid 17s, but whatever. Mistakes happen, and everybody else was in like the same conditions except for like the MP3 player. I just whatever, picked the wrong shoes. But like as we took off, I knew like there's gonna be like 4 or 5 of us out front. One younger kid just like sprinted out. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna die eventually. I'll get you soon enough. It was a younger, I think a high school kid. I just knew better not to piss around with them. And then this other kid that I know, like he'll die like mid-race, so I wasn't really worried. I mean, I always beat the one guy like when I want to. He beat me a couple of times just when I was taking it easy, but he never beats me when I'm actually like trying a little bit. Because he always like surges, dies, and just wears himself out instead of trying to stay within his means. And I knew that, and I just stay steady the whole race and just eventually pass him. The kid who won today, Greg, like me and him are pretty good. We're usually pretty even. Well, we've been pretty even lately. I think I would have been able to hang with him a hell of a lot more. At least like draft him if I had the great shoes. Because he just like pulled away maybe halfway through the race. And every time I tried to get going a little bit faster, like I could just feel it on my legs, like how much heavier they felt today. Even though I was getting good traction, the traction was actually slowing me down because I was gripping too much instead of just like being able to push off a lot more, and he just kept gaining, where I actually thought I was going to have the advantage on the second half. He actually did because he was wearing road shoes, and in those like the clear spots from the vehicles was able to get a lot more speed when I was actually like sticking to the ground a lot more. So whatever. Anyway, I noticed like Greg, because Greg knows the same, he races like the same strategy type deal. He sort of hangs back to let the one kid surge and lets the other people like take off, because he's a pretty smart racer. I was just watching him, you know, picking his moments as well, and just, you know, running with him himself. You notice these things when you're running with people all the time and you race them, that you know what they're doing as well, because we're both smart. Congratulations to Greg for the win, but it was just fun watching him because I knew what he was doing as well. Just basically we were just biding our time before those two people faded and we just took over. I was just thinking like the cream of the crop rises to the top mentality eventually. If you go out fast and don't run within your means, you know what I mean? If you're redlining right away in a 5K, you're probably not going to maintain the whole time. And we know that these two were doing that. Even though they did put a couple of surges on a little bit, maybe like a quarter into the race, but then they just, once we both passed them, we knew they weren't going to catch back up. I did well. I think we all basically slipped on that first right-hand turn, because we all tried to like cut it, and then like you could just see us sort of like not push ourselves out or push each other out, but like as we tried to take the turn, we knew like slipping wise, like we just had to like keep stepping over. And it was kind of funny like to see the three of them do it, and then like as I had to do the same thing, trying to take that corner sharp, and it just ended up getting like pushed out to the outside just because of the conditions. But other than that, I don't think we had any issues from what I saw, like tripping wise. I didn't see anybody else or hear anybody else complain about it. Again, the course got a lot better from the time I actually viewed it than the actual race. Then yeah, after, like, because the first part of the race, you do a couple of tents around like the blocks on the one side of the school, and then you come in front of the what is it, the junior high or whatever it is. I don't think it's high school. I think it's a junior high, maybe junior, senior high, whatever it is, the school that we use. We run in front of that, and we do like basically 2 miles or 2.2 or something like that on the opposite side of the school, because I think we hit a mile once we're in front of the, like the middle of the front of the school. I think it's when my watch went off for a mile. So yeah, so 2/3 is on the other side of the school from where we start. But once we did a couple of tents, well, I would say a half mile, that's like when me and Greg basically took over. And nobody pushed us or came up after that. I was with Greg until we made the left-hand turn in like the, what I want to call the loop section, the back half. Then as we were going uphill, he was able to get better traction at the little incline where I was sticking to the ground a lot more, and that's when he pulled away from me. And by the time I actually got to the turn, he was probably 10 to 15 seconds ahead of me. But I was starting to feel it in my legs, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to like really do anything unless he faded drastically to keep up with him. So I just like maintained second. But I had a bunch of people like cheering me on. I don't know who everybody was. I appreciate that. And by the time we came out of that loop section, I might have had 20-30 seconds on third. I just basically hung it up, pulled back, cruised in the rest of the way. I think I had 20 seconds on fifth at the turnaround, so like 15-ish on third and fourth, and then fifth was just a couple seconds behind that. And I was trying to stay in that top 5 range. That was at least the bare minimum goal, so you can get like a little trophy. They do top 5, so I at least wanted a trophy if I couldn't win. So I was making sure I was left myself enough to keep at. I wasn't going to pull back too much more. And then basically when we hit the school, like turn back into the high school or middle school, whatever, I basically started just jogging from there. And then once we hit the cones, I basically like walked the last like 10-15 yards into there. So my time was a little bit slower because of that as well. I pulling back and basically walking it in, jogging it in, because I had enough of a lead. Overall, I felt good. My throat's just a little dry now from the cold air. For me, my first real race in like a month. It's not bad. I don't consider Twilight a real race because I wasn't really pushing. But like the first real race in a month. And then for having to ran 20 miles the other day, bike 20, and then road 20 minutes, body felt good. And I even ran 3 miles on the treadmill last night, bike 10. And I didn't even finish up until 10:30 p.m. last night. Didn't even like eat supper till almost 11. So my body probably wasn't as much recouped, I guess. I guess it is. I felt good. I'm not going to say I was tired or anything or my muscles were sore, because they really weren't. With within 12 hours, I was, you know, just got done biking, did a race. Just, we're actually recovering a lot better again daily. Body's finally back at it. I don't know, other than that, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy it since it's a Somerset Fire and Ice Festival, I always like to go and take pictures of the sculptures afterwards, and that's part of the reason why I go as well. Try to make it as long as the roads are passable. Actually, got something real cool I want to mention. Some dude was selling shark, but I got gator. I got some kind of like gator bites. They were freaking awesome. I don't know, Chef Paza or something, I don't know, but whatever. He had gator bites, and I got them. They were freaking awesome. Just wanted to mention that. Other than that, it's a nice race. There was a few vehicles along the course. I was just like, I'll get the hell off, because they were like in our way. Like probably 4 in the first couple blocks, and probably another 4 to 5 on the back half. Just a lot of traffic just in general, because there's a lot of sports going on in the school today. So there was premium for parking. And it wasn't real slick. It, but whatever. There's really not many signs, I will be honest, for the course. There's just a handful. But it's pretty much the same people year in and year out that do the race. So we pretty much know where to go. But if you're a newbie and you were like out in the front, you'd probably have to run slower, just because you don't know the course. There's like the signage is not really there, but whatever. It was enough. I knew the course, so I knew how to run it. I think that's about it. So that was a pretty good race recap. Check it out. I don't know when it, what is this, the second week of January? Yeah, second week of January, during the Fire and Ice Festival is when they have the Fire and Ice 5K, Saturday at like 10. So theoretically, the road should get taken care of a little bit. But anyway, check it out. See you next time.